Curtis A reached out to me, said make a theme song for my show. Said alright, just give me all the details, man. And my homie says he don't know. Well, if you're gonna pay me big bucks, cause I might should have something to say. He said, you know what I bring, I'm the customizing king, nothing else matters anyway. So is he gonna have guests? I don't know. Is he gonna go live? I don't know. What time will it be? What will you see? I'm pretty much in the dark, but I can guarantee he'll be customizing action figures, getting paint all on his fingers. It's art by Akerman. It's art by Akerman. Tips and tricks and conversation, sharing his gift with every nation. It's art by Akerman. Art by Akerman. You best get ready, cause now it's time for Art by Akerman.
Welcome back, and today we are going to look at cutting on Legions figures. So specifically with accessories, armor, weapons, that kind of thing. So I recently just finished a Cobra Khan figure tribute that you can see here. And with that figure, I modified some of the pieces. So within the Legion's armor and weapons library, there's only so many parts. And you can create a lot of different looks by just painting them differently. But another way that you can create different looks is by actually, modifying the pieces themselves through cutting and sculpting and things like that. So I'm going to show you a little bit of kind of what I did with that figure and how I used these kind of three tools. So the three tools I'm going to talk about, first one is just like a pair of cutting snippers. So this is one set I have. I have a couple different sets. An Xacto knife. And then the last one is a rotary tool. A lot of people just call this a Dremel. Dremel is a popular brand of rotary tool. This one is Depth Stitch. It's a cordless one I found on Amazon that works really well for me. So we're going to talk about a few things that I did on that Cobra Khan tribute. So first thing was with the loin piece, I wanted it to be shorter. I wanted it to look, this is a tribute of a Masters of the Universe figure, and they had those like really short loin pieces. So I didn't want to have this long one hanging down. So what I did was I just took one just like this and used these snippers, and I just cut along the lines. So I just, right here, there's the good thing about a lot of this armor within Mythic Legions is they layer it. There's a lot of layers. And so on this one, you've got this, the very top layer, and then you've got the second layer and then the third layer. So what I did was I just cut off that third layer. So right underneath it here, I just snipped there, turned it around, snipped on the other side, sanded it a little bit, and then we were ready to go. So, and you can see that on the finished figure. Next thing I did was I worked on the pauldrons. So these pauldrons are actually meant for a goblin figure, a 2.0 type figure. 2.0 is the smaller body on Legions. 1.0 is the more standard body. And then you've got bigger ones. You've got half giants and trolls and things like that. But I won't, even though the Cobra Khan was going to be a 1.0 figure, I wanted to use these 2.0 pauldrons because I wanted it to look like it was actually part of his scales, his skin, his body. So with this, in order to modify this and make it look like it was part of him, I wanted to cut down some of this extra spikiness and whatnot. So what I did was I started with my Xacto blade and I just kind of rounded this off. So I cut off this top piece here. I cut off this spiky part in the front, and then just, overall kind of rounded that down on the top as well as in the front here. And I did that on both of those, and then sanded them and then painted them, which you can see in the final figure. One of the other modifications that I did, there actually was a different one, which I'll show you here. There is a, part of the torso That middle piece on the torso there is from a Oleg Thygar, the bare-chested one. That is the back piece of there, and I carved it down on the sides in order to make the chest piece for that Cobra Khan tribute. But then the kind of the iconic thing for me was going to be to try to get that gun. He has a very iconic gun that has, you know, 4 sides that come out at the end. It's like this laser blaster thing. You'll see it if you go back to the vintage line. You'll see Zodak has it, Cobra Khan has it, several others. So a good friend of mine, Emil Wickman, had told me when he's working on tributes, one of the things that he tries to focus on is the silhouette of things. So if you look for parts that kind of can match that silhouette or get close to it, and then you go from there. So I knew that the gun, right? We have guns. This is a Tusk gun. This is actually from the Waltor Cosmic figure. And so we've got a gun. So this has the handle, it has a trigger hole. It's got all the things that you would want in a gun. And then I just needed to modify the end to have something to go the 4 different ways. And I knew we've got these mace toppers in Mythic Legions that have 4 sides that come out on there. So what I did was I took my rotary tool and I sawed this part of the gun off. So I'll actually I'll just go ahead and show you right now because I could always use another gun. So I'm going to mute the audio on this portion of it so that you don't hear the rotary tool, but you'll be able to see it. So you can see here, this is kind of where I started with that. Just cut the end of that gun off. From that point, there was some work done to round the edges, also with the rotary tool, some with the Xacto knife. I ended up drilling a hole in this part of the gun. And then I used one of the like the poles for Mythic Legions that would have a topper, like this mace topper. I took the connecting piece that would, like the mace topper would go on, and I drilled a hole into the gun to put it in that side and put it in this side. So when I put the two together, it would have a pretty good hold. And then from there, what I did was I actually glued it in place. So that middle pole section gave it some support. You'll oftentimes see people use like a paper clip or something like that. I tend to use like whether it's a spear from Mythic Legions or a handle from something that's plastic, just to give it a little bit more support. So I glued those together, and then I used some what we call liquid green stuff. So this stuff here, it's made by Citadel. They have a regular green stuff, which is just 2 parts epoxy that you mix together, and then you can kind of sculpt with that. This stuff is really nice because you can just brush it on with a brush. You can, move it around, do whatever you need to fill seams and kind of make that seamless transition, which you'll see in the pictures here that I show you. That what I was trying to do is take, this piece and that piece, put them together. But at the end of the day, once it was sanded and sculpted and all that kind of stuff, that it looked like it was all one piece. And then one other thing that I did before I connected those two was to shape this. So you can see this doesn't have the exact shape that I'm looking for. It's similar to the silhouette that I was talking about. So in this part right here, what I did was I used the Xacto knife and I carved this part down because I wanted it to end here, right? I didn't want any of this. So I cut this part off, cut that part off, took it out. Did the same thing for each one of those fins. Then once I got that part off, then I needed to, there's this like divot here. Well, I don't want that divot. I wanted it to be kind of rounded and curved in here. So I carved this down to the shape that I needed to. And then the last part on this that I did was this little nubbin on the end. I wanted to shorten that so that it was a lot closer to the gun itself. Sorry, right here. So I cut this little nubbin off here just to get it a little bit closer to the gun. So, and then after that, it was just sanding, sculpting, painting, and then the finished product. So here is the finished product. So at the end of the day, you can see kind of the finished look here. You've got the modified gun that's, you know, part Mythic mace, part blaster from Cosmic Legions. You've got the modified loin piece there, and you've got the modified pauldrons, as well as the modified chest piece that was once a back piece for a thigh guard. So, you know, just those few little modifications with, you know, snippers and Xacto knife and a rotary tool creates this different silhouette and different look to it overall. So hope this was helpful for you. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat there, and I will try to answer them as quickly as possible. If you found this video helpful, please hit that like and subscribe button. And until next time, keep creating, folks. Thanks.